All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome, everyone in the gallery, those of us joining online. Welcome to the monthly council meeting here in the beautiful city of Summerside in our historic City Town Hall. It is February 17th, 2026, and I will call to order our meeting of this date here at 5:30 p.m. I will begin by calling for a mover and a seconder from council to move the agenda as presented. Move, Councillor MacDougall. Second, Councillor Cameron. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any changes, revisions, deletions, or anything else? Seeing and hearing none, we'll proceed with the agenda as presented. We begin each one of our meetings here at the City of Summerside by acknowledging that the land upon which we're gathered is unceded Mi'kmaq territory. Abogway is covered by the historic treaties of peace and friendship. We pay our respects to the indigenous Mi'kmaq people who have occupied this island for over 12,000 years past, present, and future. At this point, I'll ask any member of council to declare a conflict of interest with respect to any item on the agenda before you tonight. Seeing and hearing none, we will move along. Just for the benefit of those who are joining us here and those online, we have one councillor is out west, out of province. He is joined online, and we also have two councillors who are under the weather. So for the junior mayor and council here today, if you're feeling sick, and don't show up at a council meeting, we'd rather you just join in from home. Not only of you, but in the future. So they are joining in online. They will be listening, and if there's need for a vote, they will send us a message. With that, we'll move on to item 2, which is our minutes. And I will first look for approval for the planning board meeting minutes. And Councillors Trenholm and Adams are online. Okay, so I will look to you, Brian, if you can get indications from them if they vote to approve the minutes. Is that correct and possible?
They can speak, I can't see.
Okay, great. Sure, they can speak. So first, I will call for a mover and a seconder to adopt and approve the planning board meeting minutes of February 3rd, 2026. So moved by Councillor Duran. As a member of planning board, I will second. All in favor of the minutes, please indicate by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Any opposed? There can't be any because everyone said aye, so we will consider those minutes adopted. The next, I will group the following series of meeting minutes together. The minutes of the monthly council meeting of January 19, 2026. The minutes of the Committee of the Whole meeting of February 3rd, 2026, and the meeting minutes of the Special Council meeting of Council on February 3rd, 2026. I call for a mover and a seconder from Council to adopt the minutes as presented. Move Councillor McColeman, second Councillor MacDougall. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any changes, revisions? Seeing and hearing none, all of the minutes set out in the meeting package have been adopted. At this point, we move on to item 3, which is accolades and recognitions. Opportunity for any member of council to highlight any accolades or recognitions in the community that they wish to draw the attention to over the course of the last couple of weeks. Seeing and hearing none, we will continue. We're ticking right along. We'll move right into the reason we're all here. Well, half of the people are here, which is our junior mayor report. Before I invite up junior mayor Nico Kenny to provide the report, I will just quickly say we have a number of junior councillors from SIS, and I think I saw Morgan, Mr. Sears. There he is in the back. Can't see your face there, Morgan, but I got your hand when you raised it. This is a long-standing tradition here in the city of Summerside. We had the swearing in going on a couple of months ago, and I think junior mayor and council were going to present your report a few weeks ago or so, but there was a snow day, and so when you're not in school, then you don't have to come here. So we're really happy to have you. So at this point, I will step down. I will invite junior mayor Nico Kenny up to present the report from junior mayor and council here for 2026. So Nico, come on up. Take my tea.
Thanks. Good evening, Your Worship, members of council, junior councillors, and public audience. My name is Nico Kenny, and I'm here to present our suggestions for the youth and for the departments working for the City of Summerside. I would like to thank all the people who gave us a tour around the city. It was a super cool way to see all the different places that keep our city running. We learned how the interesting process of how cleaning water is, and the smell too. We also saw all the equipment used by the firefighters and even got a ride on the fire truck. We visited the police station and learned all they do to keep us safe. Overall, we noticed all the hard work you're doing to keep us safe and making sure the residents feel included and supported. Our first suggestion is to try to get more staff in all departments, if the budget allows. It would help increase work productivity in general. Another suggestion is to add both wind farms and solar farms and give them more batteries. Adding batteries to these places could be used for extended power loss and help with less energy waste, which is very good for the environment. Also, a youth place where kids can have a dedicated place to go and to be with friends will help with the majority of the youth demographic. Speaking about our community, more events during the year would help keep the city interesting and appealing to newcomers, potentially helping with our staffing suggestion. More events and concerts would help keep our community connected and happy. In addition, the water treatment plant needs a new truck to be able to move quickly the essential chemicals to purify and move along the process faster. Furthermore, having more trash cans was suggested to give teens and adults a better alternative than throwing their garbage everywhere. With the increase of trash cans, it will help keep our city cleaner. Finally, if the zoning laws could change and be more flexible with new housing ideas, tiny homes will be a good and affordable option for the residents that are unable to buy the less expensive homes here in Summerside. This will also allow people with lower wages to have access to mortgages, save money, and eventually, by selling their properties, buy a bigger home that they could not afford before. Tiny homes will also help increase the demographic here in Summerside and Canada. In conclusion, I do hope you take into consideration some of our ideas and suggestions, and thank you again for allowing us here to have a voice that could change our city for the better. Thank you. Thank you.
Great job, Nico. That was awesome.
Thank you.
Well done. That was fantastic. Good job. And thank you, Junior Mayor Nico, and to all the junior councillors who are here today. And I know you put a lot of work into this. I'll now open the floor to council. If council has any comments that they'd like to make in conclusion after receiving the recommendations, which are very timely because we are in budget season. I'll start with Councillor Duran. Okay.
First of all, I guess just wanted to say how impressed I am, and I think how impressed we all are with the work that you put into to everything from when you first came here the first time to tonight. It's obvious that you didn't just skim things over. And put ideas together like at lunch. So you did your homework and thought about real issues and our community and made some real recommendations. And and that's probably the hardest part of this job. So I didn't know I'd be speaking tonight, but the batteries, that was a great idea. Would it be proper to say that we have some now, or is it like we have one now? It's like a set of batteries. But we've recently started exploring getting more for the exact reasons that you outlined. So, fantastic. And thanks again to everybody. And again, congratulations for how you got here, talking in front of your peers and running a real election. And hope everything goes well for you for the rest of the year and beyond. And hopefully we'll maybe see some of you around here soon, in a few years anyway. But thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Worship. Great report there, Nico. And I'm glad that you all had a good day during your term, your short term, and I thank Kiefer for not breaking the bank while he was finance chair. And, but I I was writing down the things, your recommendations, and that thing with more staff, I don't know, was our CAO in your ear while you were here? But the wind, the solar, and the battery hit the nail on the head. We need to really pay attention to our energy and that. So there was a lot of good things on here, and we'll be definitely looking at them. And all the best in the rest of your term here this year. So great, thank you.
Thank you, Your Worship. That was a great presentation. I think that it's nice to see so many well-rounded options to not only think about what youth need, but also what residents truly do need in the city. And I think that a lot of the things you guys mentioned are things that we have been talking about as council too. So it's nice to know that we are in touch with what people do need. And going forward, I know that we've talked about, hopefully see you guys around these tables someday, but I just want to extend a little invite out that next year when you go into grade 10, there is a youth advisory committee, which I chair for the city, that it would be great if any of you would like to apply for that committee, because we look at these things that you're talking about, like youth-friendly places and more events for youth, and figure out how we can do that for the young people in the city. So keep that in the back of your mind as you come back from summer break next year. And I hope to see you guys.
Nico, congratulations on your speech. You did a great job. You brought out a lot of really good points that it's important for us to know from your eyes and the tours that all of the Junior Mayor and Council did, what your thoughts are and how you compiled it. Just a couple of things that I wanted to point out. It really pleases me, and I'm sure Senior Council, that as a Junior Mayor and Council, you did get to see all of the departments. And I think a lot of times when people don't see the inner workings of what takes place in the city, sometimes it's really hard to see how many, staff and the equipment and the costs and things like that. So I think we're really glad that you did get a chance to see that. Another thing that I think is really important, we're just finishing up on our budget discussions for the year 2026 and 27, and there's so many different asks for each department, and they're all very important. And so Senior Council, we have a hard time trying to juggle with the money, with the expenses, the long-term debt, those kinds of things. So I'm really glad that you got a chance to see the departments and what it takes to operate them. I think we're looking at an electric utility, a new fire hall, and they're not cheap pieces of equipment or buildings, that sort of thing. So it's just good that you see it through your eyes, how it costs so much to run the city. And maybe we'll see you back here in future years as adult leaders, because it was great to have you here as Junior Mayor and Council. So thank you.
I'd just like to thank Junior Mayor Kenny for his very thoughtful report. One of the things that struck me in it, and which I find is going to be really important, especially in the near future, is the tiny home part, and not only for people that are struggling maybe a little bit or to be used as starter homes and whatnot, but it's also good the other way too for the people that are downsizing and for older people like myself. So congratulations to everybody that took part. I really believe in my heart, and I say this, I think, every year, that it's a great exercise not only for City of Summerside and Council and staff, but for staff and students at SIS, and I think it's a great experience. So keep up the good work and have fun.
Thank you, Councillor, and I'll wrap up here as well. I've been through the full series with all of you. From the get-go, when you stood on a stage in front of hundreds of your peers to make your case as to why they thought they should choose you, those speeches sit with me every single year, and what you say I listen to really, really closely. And first, just to commend all of you for being able to get up and do that, because that is not an easy thing to do. Whether you've done it 100 times or whether you're doing it your first time. And then the second, through the tour, I remember we stopped by, the boring part of the tour is when you have to stop and have lunch with me and HR and finance. But, and then you get to go do all the fun stuff. But clearly, once again, you weren't just going through the motions with the tour. You're obviously listening to the people who run our city and keep it going every single day behind the scenes. And that's clear in your recommendations here. And then your report's really pragmatic. And that, in a lot of ways, is how municipal government works. There is a lot of pragmatism. There is, we do some of the stuff that maybe isn't the fancy, big, showy type stuff, but trash cans matter. A new truck for a water department, that stuff matters. That makes a big deal. And in terms of the staff, you're absolutely right. We need to continue to grow our city. As our city grows, so too do the needs and the pressures on this organization. So everything in here is fantastic. Of course, I'd love the ideas, any idea about making housing more attainable, particularly for everyone in our community, to make sure it meets them where they are in their life. And really congratulate you, Junior Mayor Nico, and all of the council. You work together as a group. I certainly expect that what you reported here today was based on the opinions of everyone, and that's what distinguishes municipal politics from other levels of politics. We may all come from different walks of life and different backgrounds with different perspectives and understanding on how we see our community and how we see our world, but we have to get together and figure out how to manage all our residents' taxpayers, all our residents' taxes in ways that better our entire community, and we have to come together and make decisions as a group. So congratulations to all of you. Thank you again, Morgan and the team at SIS, for doing this. This is an incredible piece of our city, and I speak for all of us, as I think everyone said here. We wish you the best of luck. We will take these recommendations, and we will certainly think about them and consider them. I don't want to scoop anything here, but there's some in here that I certainly expect we're already down our way to doing. So great to have that reinforced through your eyes, because your voices and your perspectives really matter here in our community. So thank you all. Congratulations, and good luck with the rest of the school year. And thanks for coming this evening. We're going to give you a round of applause. So before we move on to the next part of our meeting, you're welcome to stay, but I can just give you a minute. I can just turn my mic off, and if you want to go, you can go, and then we'll continue with the rest of our meeting tonight. All right? Great. Okay, we'll just take a quick 1-minute recess there, Council. All right, Council, we'll continue to tick along. We have 2 other reports here this evening. As you know, we have open opportunity for members and organizations of the public to present to Council. We try and keep that to 15 minutes, if possible. And with that, I'll invite Renita Bartlett up to present on behalf of IRSA, Immigrant Refugee Settlement Association, with an office here in Summerside. Welcome, Renita. Nice to see you again.
Thank you. Thank you. Good evening, Your Worship, councillors, and administration. Thank you so much for this opportunity to come forward and present the incredible work that we do. Before I dive into my presentation this evening, I want to introduce some very important people at our Summerside IRSA office. So first, we have our very dedicated volunteer, Angela. Angela, who by trade is a social worker from Colombia, helps in our office every single day. She volunteers every day. She sits at the front desks. She smiles at everybody coming in, introduces herself and provides them with some water and coffee. But that's not all she does. She also plans events, helps plan events, and she also is going to lead a parent support group coming up here pretty soon. So it's a very valuable volunteer at IRSA. Next, we have Carolina. So Carolina is our employment specialist and really is the driving force to help our newcomers in Summerside locate meaningful employment. And then right next to her is Nilda, and Nilda's often the first point of contact in our office. They're all very nervous this evening. I can sense it behind me. But our newcomers come in and they'll meet with Nilda, and Nilda provides resources and supports and referrals to all kinds of places. And then we do have one staff that's not here tonight, and her name is Glyza, and she's our youth support specialist. And she's not here tonight because she had PD day planning on Friday. She ran a very amazing PD day camp. And she also heads the recreation group that happens every Saturday at SIS. So we gave her the evening off this evening to take care of herself. And myself, so I get the incredible opportunity to lead this team. I've learned so much from them. So I'm the manager of community services with IRSA here in Summerside. And I'm very excited to be here tonight. You'll notice, and hopefully you hear tonight, that we all come with a tremendous amount of experience and a tremendous amount of passion in supporting our newcomers in the community. I am going to have them briefly speak about their shared lived experience because they are all newcomers in Summerside, and they have their own stories, but they're going to make it brief tonight. But I really wanted to highlight the level of experience and passion that we have in our office. But before that, so tonight I want to begin with a single word for you: thriving. When you hear that word, what does it mean to you? Does it mean economic growth, a strong workforce, safer neighborhoods, families choosing to stay in Summerside, or a city that feels vibrant and connected? At IRSA Summerside, thriving is never just a concept. It's the outcome we strive for every single day. IRSA Summerside's office has become more than a service location. It's a welcoming space, a referral hub, and often the very first doors that newcomers come to when they come to this beautiful city. We continue to see a steady growth in the number of newcomers accessing our services. Demand for settlement supports, employment readiness, especially English language learning, continues to increase, reflecting Summerside's strength as a destination community. This past fiscal year, it's important for you folks to know, we saw 2,181 clients from 97 countries come through our doors. So we were very busy. We know that when families and individuals arrive, the most common challenges they face include language barriers, locating employment, and navigating unfamiliar systems. At present, the primary gap we are seeing is capacity in English language instruction. Expanding language access would significantly strengthen employment outcomes and long-term retention in our city. But thriving is not only economic. Here is what we strive for every single day. When employment stabilizes, families invest long-term in our communities. When children feel connected, they succeed in school. And when youth see opportunity, they stay. So when asked, or I'm sure you might have asked, what support we are looking for from the City of Summerside, the is partnership and alignment. Continued collaboration, inclusion in strategic conversations, and shared advocacy around workforce and language priorities. Thriving is not something one organization does alone. It's something we all do together. Now, I would like to invite Angela, Carolina, and Nilda to speak briefly about their lived experiences. They just found out about this today. So.
Good evening. Thank you for this opportunity, especially my manager, Renita. She believes in me more than I do. For that reason, IRSA is my second home. They give me a place where I learn about my skill English, about this community, very beautiful. I learn different things in IRSA, especially my English, because I knew in IRSA, in Summerside, almost 6 months ago, I arrived. The women teach me different things, especially feel more confident in myself. IRSA is not only use an office, it's my home. They give for newcomers support and also a safe place. Thank you, IRSA.
Hi, good evening to each and every one of us. I'm Nilda, and yeah, I am the newcomer settlement worker. But like my manager said, that this is for newcomers. All of us are newcomers, but I'm not that new because I'm here in the island since 2012. And yeah, my first place where I stay were in Ollery, and then I moved to Charlottetown, and from there, I moved here in Summerside. And I choose to live here. Like I have other choices to live in different province or city, but I choose to live here in Summerside because for me, Summerside is my second home. Like from Philippines to Summerside because I felt the safety for my children and for myself, and I find Summerside is really connected to us newcomers. That's why if there are people who ask me, why don't you move back in Charlottetown? But I said no, because Summerside is my second home already, and I am really confident to stay here. I am happy serving those newcomers also, same with me when I started here. So I find that Summerside is really a warm place for all of us. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I'm Caroline, Employment Specialist, and briefly, what can I say? My two friends said it all. When we talk about being successful, thriving, like the word itself, we have to think about confidence. That's what at IRSA we are all about. We want to help our newcomers to understand there is room for them here. And we want everyone to know that Summerside is a beautiful place. I come from Brazil, very large city, São Paulo, and I wouldn't change Summerside for the world because it gives me the feeling of safety. I am safe. I have 2 daughters, and then there is nothing for me more important than being able to provide them with a place or have them in a place where there is peace. And this is something we do not have in our countries. So as a feeling of gratitude, we all newcomers want to give to the city of Summerside. We want to share the ideas. We want to share everything, that is strength that is within us, immigrants. And we want to make this place a beautiful place for everyone. So at IRSA, we believe that because we went through that journey as well, we want to provide the community, the newcomers, all the tools that are necessary for them to integrate to the community and make this city a very beautiful city that it already is. So thank you so much for this opportunity. Newcomers, we want to help. And there are so many families that tells me, oh, Carolina, what can we do to help? Or most of them have great things to give,
but they don't have the language. So they feel like, oh my God, what can I do? How can I say this or that? We are so grateful to you and to the city of Somerset for welcoming us and for allowing us to make this a home. Thank you so much.
So I wanted to end my part of the presentation with that because lived experience is so important. Although I did kind of just spring it on them today, I knew that they would do a beautiful job sharing a bit about who they are and their passion. And I want to also celebrate Angela because she is doing an incredible job with her English. So that's all I have, but I welcome any questions or comments you might have.
You know me, I always have something to say. I just wanted to, okay, I'm going to try to say all the names and I'll get them wrong. Angelina, right? Carolina, Angela, and Nilda? Okay. And, of course, Renita. But I can remember probably last year walking on the boardwalk, and there were probably several women that are newcomers. I think they work in one of the resident care homes. Anyway, they were a beautiful evening, and they were doing Zumba. So my husband and I stopped, and we were watching them, and they were having so much fun. Anyway, we ended up doing Zumba with them, and every time we would run into seeing them, oh, Zumba lady. So thank you for your words of kindness to the city of Summerside, and it's as nice to have you folks here coming to our community, and you add a lot of richness as well to the local community and the people here. So thank you.
Just a comment too. I'm a Summerside guy. I was born here. I've been here all my life. I have no intentions of going anywhere else. And I love Summerside. But it certainly makes me feel proud to hear new Canadians come here, choose Summerside, and be excited about it and say all the nice things that you've said. So, thank you.
Well, thank you, Renita, Angela, Carolina, and Nilda. That was lovely, and we'll certainly take away the word as well, thriving, for ourselves to chew on and to think about. And again, thanks for coming in because it's helpful for all of us here at Council, I think, to get touch points from organizations like IRSA, and to continue to understand and remember what the role is that you're playing in our community and in terms of building a welcoming, inclusive, and diverse community that thrives for everyone. We're all aligned in the same way. And so thank you for all that you do and the people that you serve, and your commitment as well to our community. We certainly share it with you, and we're really happy that you're here, and we can't wait to see what we can do next. Great.
Amazing.
Thank you very
so
much.
much.
Appreciate it. Next up, we have a presentation from Doug Waugh with respect to on universal design. But I don't see Doug here. Is he here? Has anyone seen him? Okay, you want to just poke out and have a quick look? If not, we did reschedule this one. I think he had again, it was a weather interruption. Nope, no sign. So we will put 4C on the back burner for now, and move on to item 5, staff presentations. There are no staff presentations tonight. Appointment to committees, there are no new appointments to committee. We're moving into introduction and reading of bylaws and resolutions. We have one resolution here. I'll ask Councillor MacDougall to carry it away. Councillor.
Thank you, Your Worship. I do have a resolution here. It's to do with the Evergreen Village, and we had a number of meetings, and this was discussed at our committee meetings, and this is the final result that we have here today for a resolution. It's Resolution COS 26-005, moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Duran. Whereas Evergreen Village is a long-established mobile home park within the city of Summerside and provides housing to residents, many of whom are seniors and individuals on fixed or modest incomes. And whereas residents of Evergreen Village have experienced prolonged uncertainty regarding the future of their housing, creating stress and concern for their safety, stability, and well-being. And whereas housing policy, tenant protections, rent regulation, financing mechanisms, and income-based affordability programs are primarily matters of provincial jurisdiction under the laws of Prince Edward Island. And whereas the Municipal Government Act grants municipalities authority over land use planning, zoning, municipal infrastructure, property taxation, and local policy within legislated limits. And whereas Council of City of Summerside has undertaken advocacy, infrastructure review, zoning clarification, legal support, and intergovernmental engagement related to Evergreen Village. And whereas Council has determined that clarity regarding municipal authority, available tools, and future direction is necessary in the public interest. Now therefore be it resolved that the Council of the City of Summerside hereby affirms the following. 1, jurisdiction and role. Council affirms that housing policy, tenant protections, and acquisition financing are primarily the responsibility of the province of Prince Edward Island, and that the city's role is limited to the exercise of municipal authority under the Municipal Government Act, including land use planning, zoning, infrastructure, taxation policy, advocacy, and coordination. 2, zoning and community recognition. Council confirms that Evergreen Village is owned as a mobile home park under the City of Summerside zoning bylaw and designated accordingly in the city's future land use plan, and recognizes Evergreen Village as an established residential community within the city. 3, position on displacement. Council does not support displacement of Evergreen Village residents without fair, reasonable, and well-constructed protections in place, and will continue to advocate for housing stability within its legislative authority. 4, mobile home park policy. Council directs staff to prioritize the development of a mobile home park policy to be advanced through the Planning Committee and Council for the purpose of clarifying expectations for park owners, strengthening standards related to notice, maintenance, communication, and transparency, and identifying additional protections where municipal authority allows. 5, resident support and coordination. Council directs the Chief Administrative Officer to consult with Evergreen Village residents and, if appropriate, establish a coordinated municipal action team to assist residents who are seeking alternative housing options, supportive housing, or long-term stability for the purpose of facilitating information, referrals, and coordination without replacing provincial housing programs. 6, infrastructure feasibility. Council authorizes staff to consider, where appropriate, the cost and technical feasibility of municipal infrastructure extensions or upgrades, including water, sewer, and related works, where such analysis would support a viable long-term ownership model, including cooperative or resident ownership models, subject to council approval and provincial partnership. Expropriation. Council affirms that expropriation is not an appropriate or legislatively viable tool in this matter and will not be pursued by the City of Summerside. 8, financing and acquisition. Council affirms that the City of Summerside is not a lender and will not finance the purchase of Evergreen Village or individual lots, and that acquisition by a cooperative, nonprofit, or other entity would require provincial, private, or nonprofit sector financing and support. Affordable housing incentives. Where units or lots are deemed affordable based on provincial housing needs, Council affirms its openness to considering the application of the city's affordable housing policy, including sliding scale property tax abatement incentives, subject to council approval and policy criteria. 10, advocacy and communication. Council directs the mayor and staff to continue advocacy with the province of Prince Edward Island and relevant stakeholders and to maintain clear, consistent communication with residents regarding municipal actions and limitations. Be it further resolved that this resolution be released publicly as a statement of council's position and direction regarding Evergreen Village.
Thank you, Councillor MacDougall. Resolution COS 26-005 is on the floor, moved by Councillor MacDougall, seconded by Councillor Duran. Now open the floor for further comments, questions, or debate. Seeing and hearing none, I will make a note that Council at Committee of a Whole meeting 2 weeks ago spent considerable time working through this. So with that, I will call for a vote. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Oh, sorry. I should have given you guys some more time. I think they were with the ayes. Okay, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ayes, and then 3 ayes who are joining, so that would be passed 8-0. So thank you, Councillor. The resolution is carried. Thank you, Councillor MacDougall. With that, we move on to item 8, which is department reports. I'll begin by Representative MacDougall, Chair of Finance Committee and Representative for Finance. We'll just get to the others as we get to them. Councillor?
Thank you, Your Worship. I do have a finance report here tonight by Director Kristen McDonald. Good evening, colleagues, City Council, businesses, and residents of the City of Summerside. Our overdue utility accounts receivable as of February 6, 2026 show a decrease from what was reported for January by $100,000. Although the greater than 60 days is $5,000 higher than what we would have reported in January, it's slightly lower than the amount shown in February 2025. Of the $75,400 outstanding for more than 90 days, over $39,800 relates to 2 commercial accounts. A payment arrangement has been accepted for 1 account, and payment in full is anticipated for the 2nd account upon completion of our property sale transaction. These three accounts remain disconnected due to non-payment and will not be reconnected until payment is received. Customers who receive a collection notice are strongly encouraged to contact customer service at 902-432-1230 to discuss available payment options. The preparation of our 2026-27 capital and operating budgets is well underway, and Council began with their deliberations with several meetings being held this month. We expect to present this budget to our business and nonprofit organizations and residents on Wednesday, March 11th, and the vote on the budget will be on Friday, March 27th. The Finance Committee priority after the development presentation of the 2026 budget is to complete the debt metrics to accompany our debt management policies. Thank you for the opportunity to present this report. If there's any questions.
Thank you, Councillor MacDougall. Councillor McColeman, Representative for Governance, HR, and Legal.
Thank you, Your Worship. Good evening, Councillor colleagues. I'd like to thank Director Kendra Gunn, who has prepared the report for Human Resources and Legal Services. January was a busy month for payroll as staff prepare for issuing of T4s. Caitlin Osborne has been hired as a part-time police dispatcher. Krista Hickey has been hired as a group fitness instructor, and Maria Thompson as an aquafit instructor at Credit Union Place. Applications are currently being accepted for the police sponsorship program. Current job postings include part-time customer service representatives at Credit Union Place and summer engineering students with technical services. Staff have attended virtual professional development seminars, and the department has liaised with the city's medical health plan provider on a number of staff inquiries. Staff also liaised with the city's pension plan custodian to address inquiries from staff and pensioners. Staff attended the monthly Joint Occupational Safety and Health Committee meeting. As well, staff spoke with Connection to Employment program with the participants. The department director continues work on bylaw and policy review process, and we will be meeting March the 4th, and more information will be coming to the committee. Department staff continue to support various city departments and work with external legal counsel on staffing, human resources, legal matters, as well as including drafting, reviewing contracts and leases, and supporting civil claims. And that concludes my report, and if anyone has any questions.
Seeing no questions, thank you, Councillor McColeman. With that, we'll move on to Representative for Municipal Services, Councillor Morrison. Councillor.
Thank you, Your Worship. Public Works, Water and Sewer Utility highlights. Winter is in mid-swing, and time to remind the traveling public of the occurrence of potholes from the freezing and thawing cycles. Any resident that identifies a pothole is reminded to call 902-432-1268 for a scheduled repair. Please drive with caution according to the present weather conditions during the winter season while being mindful of potholes. The Water Utility Annual Report for 2025 has been posted on the city website for the public to review. In summary, there has been 525 bacteria tests, 103 nitrate tests, and 54 horizontal chemistry tests completed in the 2025 calendar year. The potable drinking water for the city of Summerside was always within Atlantic Canada drinking guidelines. The electric utility highlights. The electric utility has continued scheduling and dispatching resources to meet customers' electrical needs for this winter. The diversity of the Summerside Electric's wind, solar, imports, engines, and battery has proven to be very reliable in meeting the electricity demands of its customers. To date, the electric utility has weathered through minus 21 degrees Celsius weather with a wind chill of minus 31. While there is still another month to go of high electricity demand for Summerside Electric, the customers are asked to be continually mindful of their electrical needs to assist the community in beating the peak. The hours that continue to be the highest demand on the electrical system are 6 to 9 in the morning and 4 to 8 each evening or late afternoon. Customers can see hints and tips on the website summerside.ca/beatthepeak. And I'd like to thank Director Greg Goody for that report.
Thank you, Councillor Morrison. Any questions from Council? Seeing, hearing none, we'll move on to Representative for Arts, Culture and Diversity, Councillor Cameron. Councillor.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'd like to thank Director Laurie Ellis for the following report that captures some highlights of Culture Summerside's activity from mid-January to the mid-February time period. The 2026 Mayor's Tea/Heritage and Culture Awards are scheduled for Friday, March 24th. The Mayor's Tea is being held here in the City of Summerside, which will feature the City of Summerside Heritage and Culture Awards, which will be presented at the tea, representing a wide range of heritage and cultural activities in the community for 2025. Culture Summerside also celebrated National Flag Day on February 15th with an informative and lively vignette presented by PEI actor and musician Mark Hines, and there is a link to a YouTube video if you'd like to check that out. The 60 Days of Fame exhibition series. Culture Summerside is pleased to announce the new exhibit featuring the works of a local artist through its recurring 60 Days of Fame exhibit series. This series provides professional and amateur artists the gallery space to exhibit their work in a professional setting over a 2-month period. The initiative also brings awareness about opportunities for community members to engage with the arts in Summerside. For the month of February and March 2026, the exhibit entitled Bloomers and Bygones by Elise Marie Arsenault-Bonus can be viewed at the McNaught History Center and Archives. The artist shared that this collection portrays the bliss, beauty, and joy of life whilst making space for the quiet reflection of life's ups and downs, respectively. And mark your calendars for the Summerside Lobster Carnival because it's coming back with some horse racing. So, Culture Summerside is currently working on the development of the 2026 Lobster Carnival program, and the special initiative connected to the 150th anniversary of the Summerside Raceway. The overall celebration will be an exciting lineup of island and maritime entertainment, food, outdoor fun, harness racing, and community gatherings. Details will be announced over the coming weeks. And lastly, Culture Summerside has been awarded a grant from the Community Museums Association Museums Development Grant Program to further the work in areas of collection management, more specifically in the intellectual order, standards of care, and storage of artifacts. And that is my report.
Thank you, Councillor Cameron. Councillor Morrison, question? Your light's on, that's all. But, okay, no question, no. Thank you, Councillor Cameron. Any further questions? Seeing and hearing none, we'll move on to a representative for Technical Services, Councillor Durant.
Yes, thank you, Your Worship. Preparations for the 2026 construction season are well underway, even though some private projects continue through the winter months. Capital budget planning for 2026 is now complete, and staff have moved into early design work and tender preparation for upcoming projects. That work will continue over the next couple of months, with the first tenders expected to go out in early April to support May construction starts. The city's east-west housing corridor project is complete and fully open to traffic. The new traffic signals are installed and operational. This represents a significant step forward in improving traffic flow and supporting growth in that area of the city. The fire hall project was tendered late last year and has been awarded and is expected to begin this spring. Staff are continuing to wrap up and close out several projects from 2025 while advancing this year's approved capital priorities. Planning and development staff remain active, meeting with developers who are considering projects for the coming year. Council will see a number of planning-related items again this month. The comprehensive review of the subdivision bylaw is ongoing, with proposed revisions expected to come before Council this winter, so they are in place for the upcoming development season. And in January, 15 building permits were issued with a total construction value of just over $6.2 million. And these included one conversion from commercial to a duplex, one garden suite accessory dwelling unit, 2 4-unit row house buildings, 9 5-unit row house buildings, 1 sign permit, and 1 residential alteration. Developers continue to meet with staff for guidance on projects planned for next year. If residents are considering construction or development in 2026, now is a good time to connect with staff and begin the process. And a thank you to Director Aaron McDonald for preparing the report.
Any questions for Councillor Durant? Seeing and hearing none, I will hand it back to Councillor Durant, who I believe is reading in Deputy Mayor Snow's report for economic development. And
that is right. So on behalf of Deputy Mayor Snow, the Department of Economic Development, the following is a brief update from that office. Since the last report, Economic Development has actively engaged with 35 clients, reflecting steady activity in line with seasonal trends. As spring approaches, the majority of inquiries continue to focus on available commercial and industrial space. Some key activities and highlights under client services and business retention. There was continued support for clients across various sectors, and we assisted medical professionals relocating to Summerside. One doctor toured the city last month, and another is scheduled this month. Services include promoting Summerside as a welcoming community, facilitating integration for spouses and families, and highlighting professional and lifestyle opportunities. Trade mission and international outreach. There's ongoing post-mission follow-up with prospects from recent trade missions under One Island banner, including briefing packages and follow-up meetings to advance potential investment. And planning and preparation are underway for the upcoming trade mission to further attract business opportunities. Investment and partnership development. We've been collaborating with Invest Canada and PEI Bio Alliance on investment attraction efforts with renewed focus. And we've been engaging with the new management team at County Fair Mall to identify opportunities for additional investment and development. And local market support. We have been assisting local realtors and financial advisors with research and market intelligence for the sale of commercial properties, ensuring alignment with prospective investors and city objectives. And in summary, the economic development team remains actively engaged in attracting new business, supporting relocation and retention efforts, and fostering investment in Summerside. Activity levels are consistent with seasonal trends, and upcoming initiatives position the city for continued economic growth and expansion. And this concludes the monthly report, so I would like to thank, on behalf of Deputy Mayor Snow, Economic Development Director Mike Thathuska.
Thank you, Councillor Duran. Move on to Emergency Services and Communications. Councillor Adams is with us online, but I think Councillor Morrison is reading in the report. Councillor.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'll just read some of the highlights on behalf of Councillor Kerry Adams, who's out this evening. Summary of calls. During the month, firefighters responded to 31 calls, and the breakdown is as follows: 5 medical, 2 silent alarms, and 24 general alarms. In the training, firefighters took part in 157 hours of training in January, including self-contained breathing apparatus, radio communications, and physical training. And just in the notes, I'll touch on one thing that's pretty interesting to note, but last year, in 2025, the City of Summerside Fire Department responded to 432 calls, and in comparison, 10 years earlier, that number was 220. So in 10 years, it has doubled. And I'll thank firefighter Ken Culleton for that report. And for the police services, January was a busy month with calls for service. The police service had 2 cadets beginning their training with the Atlantic Police Academy. The cadets completed some online training modules in January and will report to the academy to begin in-person training on February 2nd. We interviewed on a number of experienced police officers for potential offers of employment. That process is ongoing. Chief, CAO, and Kristen met with officials from Justice and Public Safety regarding the launch of the next-gen 911 system, which will see significant upgrades to 911 systems nationally. Upgrading of the system and PEI are expected to begin in the next few months. And Summerside Police Services forensic identification staff hosted 2 class tours in January. And also during the month of January, K9 Lucy made visits to multiple schools and provided support in the court setting to some young children who were called as witnesses at a trial. And that report was prepared by Chief Jason Blacker.
Thank you, Councillor Morrison. Any questions for Councillor Morrison? Seeing and hearing none. Move on to the last one, Community Services and Tourism Representative Councillor Trenholm. I did just message Councillor Trenholm. He asked me to read it in. I never get to do this, so I hope I won't mess it up, Council, so go easy on me. January 2026 Community Services Department. The Dome, the installation of the multipurpose court has begun. I can report that it's almost done because I was there a couple of days ago. It looks great. I think we're getting in there later this week for an announcement. Lots of new exciting programs are in the works in anticipation of the new sport floor. Requests have been picking up in advance of the spring season, and laser tag parties have increased in demand as well at the Dome. Active Living Summerside, planning for Valentine's Day, which was a few days ago now. Theme programs, including a wagon ride event and movie night. Islander Day programming has also been released to the public, which also occurred this week, yesterday. Active winter programs are looking forward to accessing the outdoor winter facilities as conditions allow, most of which I think those facilities are open and operating. And work has started on the Shipwrights Run, including the launch of a new registration page. Councillor Cameron, that's not the one we're doing. We're doing the lobster one? Okay, that's not in here. There'll also be, I'm not doing two runs. Confederation Bridge Aquatic Center, the hot tub had some valves and piping replaced, as well as sand filter was replaced with glass beads for filtration, getting lots of compliments that the water pressure has increased following those repairs. Councilor MacDougall apparently enjoys that. Parasport Aqua Abilities program has started up again, a fantastic program, and winter lessons have started up with 36 swimmers in group, 33 in private, and 28 in semi-private lessons. A new Aquafit instructor has started and will be introducing her classes over the next few weeks, and I think that was noted in Councillor McColeman's HR report. Front Desk and Bowling Winter Warmth Festival has programming booked into several areas of the building this month, including the lanes and the 55-plus games, which I think kicks off next week. First at the Fox, or at the Summerside Curling Club and Marina, gonna have to work on that. And then at the Credit Union Place, and the 55+ games also has a number of lanes components booked in. Meetings, conferences, and conventions, it was full this morning, when a number of us were there for the Premier's Breakfast. 20 convention center rentals in January and 11 at the Oval. January also saw 5 Summerside Western Caps home games at the Island Petroleum Center, and I think the Caps are still in first place and getting all ready for Centennial Cup. Green Spaces installation and maintenance of outdoor ice surfaces at Skierman Park and Kiwi Park Oval began. I can report that they are in because I was there the other day and people were skating. Grooming and maintenance of trails at Rotary and Heather Moyes Park have began. Those are also good because I've been fat biking on those trails. I should do this every time. Planning this year's Rotary Rundown, which is a fat bike race on February 21st, and there are banners being installed downtown. Last quick piece on sets. Registration is filling up for Noah Dobson's Hockey Fest with 80+ teams signed up already and 70 spots remaining. The official tournament schedule for Centennial Cup was launched, and those packages continue to be on sale while quantities last. And planning has begun for annual Canada Day festivities, so stay tuned for exciting programming in the coming weeks. And with that, that is Councillor Trenholm reporting for Robbie Rankin. I can take any questions. Seeing and hearing none, thank you very much, Council, for your patience. We'll now move on to item 4C, and I think we've got Doug here. Doug was here from to speak to Council about universal design, and I think there's a presentation, so we will welcome you up, Doug. Welcome to Summerside City Hall. I'll hand it over to you.
Great. First off, I want to apologize for my lateness. I had the time of the meeting wrong, so I should have double-checked that. So again, apologize. Yeah, so I do have a quick presentation. I'll try to keep it short, and if there's any questions, then we'll move on from there. So, I guess a bit of who I am. So yeah, my name is Doug Waugh. I'm a professional engineer and a RHFAC, so Rick Hansen Foundation Accessibility Professional, and I am the. Can you hear me? Okay. I am the president of Beacon Atlantic Consulting, which is a local consulting firm that specializes in promoting universal design in the built environment, so accessibility in built environment, and help create spaces that are accessible, inclusive, and functional. And I guess I'm here today. I thank Councillor Nick Cameron for, we've had some discussions over the past few months. I was meant to be here a couple months ago, kept getting delayed by weather. So kind of the reason, big part of the reason why I'm here today is because, I'd like to congratulate the city of Summerside on their recent DEI strategy, which whenever that was released kind of caught my eye, and then through some other contacts got put in touch with Councillor Cameron, and kind of what caught my eye, these DEI strategies get released all the time, but what really stuck out to me was that including physical accessibility as part of that. That doesn't always happen. There's a lot of different parts of diversity, equity, inclusion, and a lot of time accessibility it's kind of left off the table, or at least it's not as clearly defined. So I think I again congratulate the city on what they've done with this strategy in identifying that. So I'm gonna run through a few different things, kind of just maybe just dispel some myths or talk about some different things that come up in conversations that I've had with other people, whether it's business owners, municipalities, provincial representatives, what have you, and try to kind of spur some conversation, and hopefully everybody can kind of take something away from this. So something I hear a lot is that universal design is a lot of effort that only helps a few people, and we don't have any disabled clients or employees. So in this situation, clients would be, from a municipal level, would be your residents. As we all know, PEI's population is growing, and not only is it growing, but it's getting older. And so even if that's true today, which again, from a municipal level, it's hard to say you don't have any clients that are disabled, but that number's only going to grow. And when people think about disability or accessibility, immediately they go to wheelchairs and those kind of things, but there's any number of areas that can slot into that, visible or non-visible, anything from diabetes or heart conditions, or that all fits into that area of disability as well. And across the country, the rates of disability are on the rise. It's, you know, you can see there, this is, you know, the blue number is the rate as of 2022, and the yellow number underneath is the increase from 2017 to 2022. So we're seeing increases anywhere from 4 to 9% across the board. And some of that is, again, aging population, but a lot of that is also people starting to recognize and actually, not embrace, but the wrong word, but they're starting to actually be more forthcoming with what they've had for a long time as a disability, but it was never, either they didn't want to say it because of stigma or any other reason. So it's starting to become a lot more prevalent, and kind of what you can see is in, you know, our neck of the woods, the rates are higher even than most across. You know, we're talking 30 PEIs, almost 32% of the population. And what I like to highlight in these stats too is that they only count people ages 15 and older. So we're leaving out, you know, the most vulnerable part of our population, which is children under the age of 15. You know, and we talk a lot about sustainability in our infrastructure too. You know, we focus a lot on environmental sustainability in particular. I mean, this, again, another thing to congratulate the city of Summerside on is they've done a really good job with your renewable energy and things like that. But there's really, for something to be truly sustainable, there's really three kind of pillars to that. There is the environmental, there's the economic. If something's not economically sustainable, then it's not sustainable, and it has to be socially sustainable as well. So what that means is it has to meet the needs of the people that use it beyond today into the future. Is it going to meet the needs of what you know, a municipality needs beyond the next 0 to 5 years? We're looking, you know, some of these projects are 50-year, 100-year time horizons, and you know, nothing's perfect. You can never guess exactly, but there's information out there that we can kind of maybe do a better job of predicting. So when we're talking about universal design and accessibility in our infrastructure, we're really focusing on that social side of sustainability. So some of the things that we hear, you know, we build with the National Building Code, so we're good. It's only a problem in old buildings, and probably the one that everyone says the most, too expensive, we don't have the budget. So the issue is, you know, the National Building Code, for those who don't know, and again, I'm trying to keep this brief, so is that it's a minimum standard. It's, you know, if you don't meet it, that means the building is not safe to occupy. It doesn't mean it does all these things that we're talking. It doesn't mean it's meeting the needs of its users. It doesn't mean it's sustainable. It just means it's safe enough to be in. It gets updated about every 5 years, and something I like to point out is that, you know, in the last, from 2015 to the 2020 edition, there were 22 changes related to accessibility. So what that means is if a building was built to the minimum standards under the 2015 code, when the 2020 code came into place, it's already out of date. So 5 years, you're talking 5 years, you're already behind. And now you're playing catch up, or it's retrofits, it's all these things that cost a lot of money and take a lot of time. It's not, doesn't prescribe universal design. And when we talk about universal design, it's not specifically accessible or barrier-free design. It's making things better for everybody. It's, when you're in a nice universally designed building, you maybe don't notice it. It doesn't have all these necessarily all these bells and whistles and features, but it just works. It works better. And you know, a few months ago, I think in preparation for a meeting with Councillor Cameron, I grew up in Summerside. I was born and raised here. I live in the Charlottetown area now, but I said, you know, I'm going to go take a look at the credit union place because it's coming on 20 years old now, probably. And you know, and I had told Councillor Cameron, I was quite surprised actually at how well it holds up. It is a really well done building. There's a lot of really nice things about it. It actually does. It's a nice, I would say, a pretty well. There's no perfect, but it's a pretty well universally designed building. But then you can go into things that were built 1, 2, 3 years ago, and there's a laundry list of things that it just doesn't do, and for no reason other than it was overlooked. And the National Building Code doesn't quite meet the mark, and I'm gonna touch on that a little bit more here. So back in 2020, the Rick Hansen Foundation commissioned a study using an architecture firm out of Vancouver to kind of look at, you know, what are the costs? What does it cost to kind of do some of these things that aren't code requirements but really help push things forward? And the results, I think, are quite interesting. And so what if you're not familiar with the Rick Hansen certification process. It's similar to LEED or some of these other points-based programs where there's a survey, you gain points, and then you kind of get a rating, and you can be certified or gold certified based on the number of points you get. So what they kind of did is they went through and they said, okay, if we built a building strictly based on the building code minimums, where would it land on the rating scale? And it turns out it would get about 35%. And I don't think I need to explain that that's not great. But what they found after is that, you know, by implementing features that have no additional cost, that are just planning and design choices, things you're doing anyway, your choice of colors, your choice of flooring, choice of doors, those types of things, like you're buying them anyway, so just making a conscious decision about them, you can double that from 35 to 70%, which you're not gold certified, but you're certified at that level. So we're talking no additional cost. This is just careful planning in the beginning. And they said that at a 1% increase in construction cost would get you up to 80%, which would be gold certified. So we're, you know, this is new construction. We're not talking massive amounts of dollars. It's just the effort and the planning up front. And because, you know, money is always, budgeting is always a conversation, and there's no way around it, there's an effective planning of upgrades. You know, when we're talking retrofits, new construction is one thing, but we're always talking about retrofitting going in. How do we bring, you know, not necessarily a credit union place, but a 20 or 30-year-old building up to snuff or where we want it to be? And some of these things that have no additional cost, they can be done over time. They can be done as part of routine maintenance, or, you know, your floors are going to have to be replaced sometime. You're going to have to paint rooms sometime. You're going to have to upgrade lighting, signage. It's just part of the life cycle of these large projects. And by every time you do something like that, looking at, okay, well, we're doing this anyway. Is there any way we can improve the accessibility of universal design while we're doing this anyway? You know, that's a really, so knowing up front where the deficiencies are allows you to plan for that. There are funding opportunities out there. RBC has one out right now. They'll fund up to $40,000 for accessibility related projects, and the federal government has one. I think that'll be, I think it's up to $1 million. And municipalities are eligible for these things, and so there is some funding out there, starting to be more funding out there for these types of projects as well. So coming back to, you know, to our pillars, you know, going through some of the costs, I already kind of, you know, the social part of it is kind of self-explanatory, and now, you know, you're kind of tacking on that economic part of it. You know, if you're building things that, you know, the next time the building code comes out, they're already out of date and we're playing catch up, that's not economically sustainable. Or if it needs to be replaced in 20 years instead of 50 years, well, that's, you know, you're more long-term economic sustainability at that point. So, you know, what can we, or what can a municipality, or what can any of us do? You know, the first step is to educate, which hopefully this little talk today is part of that education. Start thinking about these things. Analyze, look at what you have, start doing audits of existing assets and say, you know, where do we fall short, so that you can start implementing, as I said, not in one big swath. It's, you know, planning upgrades over time as it makes sense, as they fit into the budget, or as other work's being done anyway, and then improve, because it's never going to be, there's no handbook that says this is exactly what you have to do. It's improving as you know, more information. This is an expanding part of design right now. There's lots of work being done related to, you know, mind-friendly environments for people with autism or depression and things like that. And it's constantly evolving. There's constantly more research, constantly more things coming out. So you're never going to get it perfect, but it's all about incremental improvement. So just to close, so some of the benefits of applying universal design approach, especially in public infrastructure, is the visitor and user experience for everyone, not just people with disabilities, for everyone is enhanced. You know, you go to an arena that has automatic sliding doors and you've got a big hockey bag on your back. That's good for everybody, not just people in wheelchairs. You know, that's a universal design approach that, hey, that works for the users of this building. So we're not even just talking about people with disabilities. Is this building designed for the people who use it? It promotes equity, diversion, and inclusion in the spaces, allows communities to thrive by allowing participation of its citizens. So that's particularly for, you know, municipalities. If people are able to participate, whether it's by coming into City Hall, whether it's by going to community events at community centers, those types of things, increases access to employment and education, and it ensures we're building truly sustainable infrastructure that will meet the needs of our population well into the future. So those are the kind of things that you're trying to achieve, and I think those are all things people want. And you know, there's more than just this to it. It's all kinds of policy things, but this fits into that puzzle to try to, you know, really push things over the top. I'm not going to read that out loud, but you can read it if you want. I think it's a kind of summarizes what I've been talking about. But yeah, that's all I have. So I'm open to questions, I suppose.
That was great. Thank you, Doug. Really valuable. I'll open the floor to members of council for comments and questions. Councillor Cameron.
Thank you, Your Worship. Thank you for coming, Doug. I don't really have questions. You and I have sat through the similar presentation already. I just want to thank you for coming. I think this is a really important thing for all of us to see. I know that when we first sat down, I said that I found it very shocking to go from that 35% to 70% with really no extra cost, and you had explained to me it could be something as simple as like repainting the color of the stairs when it's time to repaint them, which was just very eye-opening to me, and I thought it was very important for the rest of council to hear those things, and to know that there are resources out there that maybe sometimes we don't always look at when we think about building, because I think we do sometimes rely heavily on the building code, whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
The building code.
And I think that we can do more than just the minimum, and I thought that this was a great presentation to highlight that. So thank you for coming.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Doug. That was really valuable. I'm wondering, is the presentation in the deck? I don't know if it is in the deck, but I wonder if we can get a copy of the presentation.
I can send it.
It was? Okay, perfect. Okay,
Yeah.
great. There's just the one slide on the implementation piece there, the stages that I found really interesting, so I want to follow up on that. Yeah, and thank you for bringing this forward. Good timing for us here as a council in terms of trying to create more equitable and accessible spaces here throughout our community. This is really valuable stuff. And just for myself personally, anytime we're talking about the physical space around us, whoever us may be, I'm totally into it, and get really, really interested in how that impacts how we move, how we interact, how we feel, and the built environment that surrounds all of us is something I think that so often we don't pay very much attention to. Anyway, so I'm just really happy that you brought this forward, and it's good to keep it front and center for us, and I'm hopeful that we can build some of this in as well through the DEI strategy that Councillor Cameron brought forward there last year and Council adopted, because this is very much fits with our values as a city. So thank you for coming in and taking the time. And it's okay, you were a few minutes late. I think we probably have, the last time we probably had started at 6:30 and the previous meeting, and we've moved our meetings up. Okay. But you came in at perfect time, to be honest. It's right at the very end. You fit in very, very well. So
yeah, I thought,
really
I thought it was a 6:30 start, so I thought I was early. I apologize.
Yeah, you're perfect. You're right on time. Really happy to have you.
Thank you, everybody. And I have my information if anybody wants to get in touch or any sort of follow-up. But yeah, if there's any issue with I can send a copy of the slide deck if they don't have that. But yeah, thank you for the time.
Great, thank you very much, and have a great rest of your evening. With that, council, we move into our in-camera session, so we'll just take a quick 2 or 3 minute recess, and then we will hop in. I don't think so right now. Yeah, I think we'll talk about that. Yeah, be on an in-camera item. So we will follow up with a number of in-camera. I think we have legal updates on in-camera. So we'll now sign off with members of the public, and we'll move into that portion of our meeting.